Hi, welcome back to Biz Jet TV. Today we're going to be talking about Shark Tank, the TV show, and the sharks featured on Shark Tank and their usage of private jets. So we'll be getting into that shortly, but before we do that, if you haven't subscribed to Biz Jet TV, I encourage you to subscribe to this channel, click on the notification bell below, all about business aviation, and comment below as well. We'd love to hear your comments and suggestions for future videos. But let's get into today's episode, talking about Shark Tank and private jets. And the first shark we're going to talk about is Mark Cuban. Mark's famous because he bought the NBA basketball team Dallas Mavericks, and one of the first things he did when he bought the team was buy a Boeing 757, configure it out in a nice VVIP cabin for his players, and have them travel around by private jet, which has increased the team's performance tremendously over time. And they've also won the NBA after many years, but they haven't. They've always performed very well, and the club's making some serious money as well, so it's turned into a really good investment for Mark, and the private jet has played a key role in that. Now, Mark's famous because he when he first sold his first technology company, he bought a ticket, I think it was American Airlines or United, and he went around the world for a year on this ticket. It was an unlimited pass, lifetime unlimited pass, but when he got back, he decided he was going to buy a private jet, so he bought himself a Gulfstream G550. He also owns a Boeing 767, which is configured in VVIP configuration as well. So that's Mark Cuban. He's based in Dallas. He flies exclusively private. Him, his team, and his family always flying around on private jets. The next shark I'd like to talk about is Canadian Robert Herjavec, who was featured initially in Dragon's Den Canada, now on Shark Tank in the US. He's another private jet owner. He did own a Challenger 604, obviously being a proud Canadian, but recently has sold that and bought a Gulfstream G4, which he flies around, and says that private, it really does save him a stack of time. And we have Daymond John, who doesn't actually own a private jet, but he has said a number of times that he charters about 20 to 30 times a year. On the episode I did with Grant Cardone recently, Grant tells a story of how he met Daymond by giving him a lift in his Gulfstream G550. So click on the link above and you can watch that interview with Grant and how he met Daymond and how the private jet was key into that meeting. Then we've got Kevin O'Leary, Mr. Wonderful, who according to research that we've done does not own a private jet. He's actually said he flies commercial, and when he does travel with his children, he travels first class and he makes his children sit in the back in economy, so because they need to learn to make their own money. So that's how Mr. Wonderful goes about the private jet. And then there's a few of the guests, sharks that have been on and do own private jets. First one I'd like to talk about is John Paul DeJoria, because he actually owns 3 jets. 3 different kind of jets. He owns a G4, which he recently converted the avionics and everything into like a G450. You can click on the link above on how Gulfstream are upgrading the G4s and G5s. That program is in place and is something that is worth considering if you're going to be buying a private jet. He then owns a Lear 60 for the short hops, and he finds that very useful, very economical. Good aeroplane, very fast aeroplane as well. And then the third aeroplane, which is his favourite, is the Falcon 2000, built by Dassault. He likes the large, wide cabin on that one, and he likes to use that when he's flying coast to coast around the US, and it does carry 10 people quite comfortably. So that's what he does. We then have Nick Goodman, who's the inventor of the GoPro camera. He went out and bought himself a Gulfstream G550, which he uses for business and to travel with his family. And then we have Jesse Itzler, whose wife, Sarah Blakely, who created Spanx. She's been featured on Shark Tank a number of times. And her husband, Jesse Itzler, is actually the founder of Marquis Jets, which own a number of private jets, and that's how they get their private jet travel catered for. And then, of course, last but not least, fellow Brit, Richard Branson, who owns the Virgin Group. He owns a Falcon 7X, that's built by Dassault. He uses mainly to fly between his island in the Caribbean and the UK and around the world, and sometimes he does travel on his own airline to be shown, and he loves serving people food and drinks on his flights, as you've probably seen him on TV and that. So that's all the sharks and what they do. And if Shark Tank in your country has some entrepreneurs that have a private jet, or if it may be called Dragon's Den in your country, they have a private jet, please let me know and we'll do a feature on them, or maybe even interview them for an episode here on Biz Jet TV. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel, I encourage you to subscribe to Biz Jet TV. Give us a thumbs up, comment below. And that's all from Fab Poli on Biz Jet TV, and I'll see you on the next one.